Pentagon says that the airstrikes last night did not just target ISIS. They say they targeted perhaps an even more immediate threat.
Last night we also took strikes to disrupt plotting against the United States and our allies by seasoned Al-Qaeda operatives in Syria who are known as the Khorasan Group.
The Khorasan Group. The Pentagon says that group is an Al-Qaeda-linked organization. They say it was ready to execute attacks on commercial flights, blowing them up using cell phones, clothes, and toiletries that would fit in the carry-on size, loaded with explosives. We're going to have much more on that group in just a moment. Our Justice correspondent Pamela Brown begins our coverage tonight following a story about potential lone wolf attacks. And Pam, what are you hearing about this warning, which obviously is coming right after those first airstrikes in Syria?
And this warning is in response to that, Aaron. This is a joint bulletin sent out by the FBI and Department of Homeland Security to law enforcement agencies across the country, telling them to stay on heightened alert for lone wolf attacks in the wake of the strikes against Khorasan and ISIS in Syria. The concern among law enforcement officials I've been speaking with, Aaron, is that the strikes could perhaps incite violence from ISIS sympathizers, from Al-Qaeda sympathizers. This could, as one source put it, move up scheduling of a homegrown violent extremist to launch an attack here in the U.S. So the concern is that people living in the U.S. who sympathize with these terrorist groups may want to launch an attack as a response to the strikes in Syria. They may want to exploit that. So we're learning, though, that the bulletin is not necessarily in response to specific intelligence. It's more as a precaution, Aaron.
All right, Pamela Brown, thank you very much with that breaking news tonight. And now our other breaking story. Officials say the U.S. airstrikes in Syria hit an Al-Qaeda group planning an imminent attack on Americans. The terrorists reportedly ready to blow up commercial flights, according to U.S. officials. Deborah Farrick is out front with details of the threat.
What makes the Khorasan terror cell in Syria so dangerous to the United States is they have one objective: carry out a major terror attack in Europe or America. Multiple sources tell CNN the group had the materials and was operational.
The intelligence reports indicated that the Khorasan group was in the final stages of plans to execute major attacks against Western targets and potentially the U.S. homeland.
An intelligence source says Khorasan's potential plots include clothing dipped in explosive material or explosives contained in non-metallic devices like toothpaste tubes.
You could possibly get some of these types of devices, bombs, through airport security, and they could be quite catastrophic on an airliner.
A U.S. official told CNN the plot could involve a concealed bomb on a plane. If there's no information, terrorists had chosen a final target prior to U.S. strikes on their compound.
It's far from clear whether the plot has been neutralized. They may have been able to take out training facilities, but if they've not taken out the key leaders, the bomb makers, and the operatives that they were trying to recruit, then it's possible they could even accelerate this plot.
Terror experts describe Khorasan as the new Al-Qaeda Central, a small, hardcore group of veteran operatives, many who have fought in Afghanistan or Chechnya. Their leader, Muhsin al-Fadli, was part of the 9/11 planning and knew of the hijackers and the plot to fly planes into buildings. His bodyguard in Syria was recently captured and interrogated by the Assad regime, a source saying the Khorasan cell was focused on external operations.
We did not target individual leaders. We did, however, target command and control nodes.
Experts say Khorasan bomb makers may have been trained by Al-Qaeda master bomb builder Ibrahim al-Asiri, responsible for both the underwear bomb and the explosive printer cartridge. The group also has a delivery system in the form of Western recruits with European and American passports.
We will not tolerate safe havens for terrorists who threaten our people.
A U.S. official telling CNN the planned attack was, quote, much further along than anyone was comfortable with.
Much further along than anyone was comfortable with. They're using the word imminent, Deb. They've gone ahead with these airstrikes. Do they know if they have killed the people who were going to do this attack?
You know, they don't. And you have to remember that just a couple of days ago, the head of the DNI basically came out and mentioned this particular group. So they knew that there was discussion about them. Also, don't forget, the air regulations that were put into place were a direct result of things that this group may have been working on. Therefore, they're very smart. These guys are the smartest of the smart. They are hardcore. They have survived multiple battles all over, wherever Al-Qaeda is fighting. And so these guys know how to get around, and they know how to survive, and that's what makes them so dangerous.
All right, Deb Fairwick, thank you very much.